Welcome to the Querendura.com courses. In this course we will see how the Christmas elf is made in cold porcelain. The first step is to model the head. We are going to take cold porcelain and skin color according to the grammage to the grams indicated in the table of measurements. For that we are using a grammer scale. We are going to place it on the surface and we are going to roll the piece at first with force to lose the air from the kneading, and then gently to form the sphere. The sphere should not have any scratches, any impurities too. This the surface, and your hands must be completely clean once the sphere is without cracks. We are going to place release cream on the surface and we are going to press a little with the palm to achieve this shape. Then we take a mouth marker. There are different mouth markers. They can be metallic or they can be plastic, or we can also use a lid that has a shape similar to the curve. They must always be well marked, because when the porcelain dries it shrinks and loses approximately 30% of moisture. The piece becomes smaller, and we must consider this both when choosing the color that has to be less intense than what we want it to be in the end, because when it dries the color is more intense, and also the size of the piece. Now we are going to use, or we are going to also give the option of using a mold, and in this case, to make the face, we also make a sphere without cracks. We are going to place unmold cream in the mold and we are going to press it with our palm very carefully, without leaving any edges on the outside, and carefully, gently, we open the mold and remove it. In this case, the face, we have indicated how we can do it manually, and now we are seeing how it looks doing it with a mold. If you are going to make it in large quantities, it is preferable to work with molds. Likewise, in the same way we mark the mouth. We are going to take the portion of dough that is indicated for the hair. We make a sphere again without cracks, then we stretch a little to form this taco. This we are going to divide into 3 parts. Each of them we make spheres without cracks, and with the help of the palm we are going to stretch, making a long drop. 2 of the portions. Then at the end of this long drop we are going to make this chorrito, one to one side and the other will be to the other side with the third piece. In the same way we make spheres without cracks, and from this sphere we are going to stretch a little, and then with help with the inclined palm we are going to form peaks on both sides. This is going to be the upper part of the hair. All the pieces have to be glued with white rubber to prevent them from coming off when they dry. We place very little white glue on the piece. We glue on the head, and we are going to mark the central part of the hair with the help of a tool. In this case I am using a pod. We mark the center, and we also mark the hair towards the Sides, always being very careful not to press too much on the face so that it does not lose its shape, or, failing that, let the face dry for at least 2 hours, so that it does not become deformed when working on the hair. Then in the little pieces we are also going to make the hair with white rubber. We glue it to the sides. The next step is to model the body. Let's go. To take in red according to your measurement table the portion of dough that you indicate. We are also using the Grammarra scale to know the amount that we should use. We are going to need to distribute the moisture. We must always do this. Initial step. Then we are going to make a sphere without cracks at first with force to lose the air of the kneading regardless of the shape, and then gently to form the sphere with the palm inclined. We are going to stretch this sphere a little to achieve a long drop. No, it is not necessary to make it very pointed. We are working on a glass surface. It is much more practical because as long as the glass does not move, this drop is approximately 5 centimeters, and with the help of the palm, we are going to press very gently in this way and then on the surface as well. We are going to press so that the base is formed. We are making the fixes dress. We are going to begin to give the shape we want to the dress with the help of a stick from the end of a stick. I am going to give the shape to the bottom part of the dress as well. In this step we could use the end of a brush. Remember that we can always use the release cream to prevent the tool from sticking to the dough. Little by little we give the shape, and we also press so that everything has the same volume. And I am also going to press the central part with the tool so that the neckline of the dress is formed. Now I am going to take dough. In this case, I am going to use white dough. We are going to use an extruder. We add release cream to prevent it from sticking. We make a block of this white dough that must have added color, and we are going to press. We are using a circular disc shape. This dough comes with some designs of discs that are used for different strips. Different shapes. Once I have the white strip ready, I am going to place rubber white on the edge of the Dress we are always going to use little elastic, it is not necessary to put too much. If there is a surplus I can remove, and I am going to place this white edge on the edge of the dress in this way. Everything that is left over I can always remove if we use a tool, or in this case the scissors. We are going to polish the edges so that there is no raised part that the tool or scissors generally do. On the upper part, I am also going to place white rubber, and I also place the edge on the neckline. Prepared a group of toothpicks to be able to make a texture on the edge to simulate, in this case, a stuffed animal or plush. Then I am going to press on this white edge, making circular movements to detach or break the dough a little and make this raised effect like this. Once the texture remains, we can do as much as we want. The next step is to model the arm. We are going to take the portion of red dough that is indicated for the arm. We are going to need to distribute the moisture. We make a sphere without cracks. At first, with force to lose the air of the moss, and then gently to form the sphere we are going to stretch a little in this way, and we are going to divide the dough into two parts with the help of a knife cutting. We can also weigh each of the parts to verify that they have the same weight, each of these portions. We will knead again and make a sphere without cracks. If we see that there are any lines or wrinkles in the dough, we will knead again and make the sphere again. It is important that the dough always remains without cracks from the beginning, to avoid when it dries, it splits in that part. We are going to stretch a little with the palm inclined, making a long drop. We are going to work both arms at the same time. We have here approximately 3 centimeters in med. This is the relationship with the body. We are going softness. We can place a little release cream on the surface to prevent it from sticking. With a cone stick, we are going to open the final part of the arm in this way. With the back of the Aztec knife, we are going to make these wrinkles on the arm where it goes to do the Folding. We are going to take the 2 portions indicated for the gloves for the hands. We are going to make spheres without cracks. We stretch them a little. We are going to put a little release cream to prevent them from sticking. We are going to gently flatten the gloves. They should be completely flat, but like a kind of bread. We are going to press in this way on one of the sides to remove what would be the wrist. This is the part that will then be introduced into the arm. In the same way we work the other glove. With the help of the knife we are going to open what would be the thumb, and we always use a tool we are going to polish so that the marks of the tools do not remain. We must remember that we are going to make a shape similar to the one we have in our hands, where the 2 tips of the thumbs are going to meet in this way, so don't forget this, so that both hands don't do on the same side. We have given it a little movement by closing the fingers a little, and now with white rubber we are going to paste where we made the perforation with the cone. We have extracted a little white mass in the same way as we did in the body, and we are going to place it on the edge of the arm in this way. Also, with the group of toothpicks we are going to get texture from this part here too. Imitate a fur or a plush. The next step is to model the hat. We are going to take the portion of dough indicated in the red measurement table. We are going to need to distribute the moisture. We are going to make a sphere without cracks. Almost all the parts are going to be from this step. Make a sphere without cracks, at first with force to remove the air from the kneading, and then gently to form the sphere. Likewise, as we did with the arms, we are going to stretch to get a long drop. In this case, if it has a little more tip, we have almost 6 centimeters. Long. We are going to flatten it a little bit gently because we are making in applique. The appliques are flat with the help of a large bobbin. We are going to open the base of the hat in this way. With the help of our fingers we are going to shape it the tip of the In the same way we place white rubber and we are going to glue a white edge. Remember that we must always keep the dough that we are not using in a case to prevent the drying process from starting. Once it is glued again with help of the chopsticks, we are going to get texture from the chopsticks. We can put a little release cream on the tip to prevent it from sticking. Too much we press and turn a little to one side and to the other side in a circular way so that the dough breaks in. Comes off these textures that look as if they were the hairs that the plush have. Now we are going to take the portion of dough that is indicated for the tassel. We will make a sphere without. Cracks. We will also use the sphere in the tassel to make texture tool at the yes, the hat has already dried for at least 2 hours. We can directly glue the tassel. If it is still very fresh, we can make a hole with the help of some tool and then glue it to the hat to avoid damaging the shape. We are going to take the portion of dough indicated in your measurement table to make the shoes in this step. Let's see how the pixie is assembled. In the same way, we are going to need to distribute the humidity. We make a sphere without cracks. We stretch and divide. Each of these in half portions. We are going to make spheres without cracks. With the palm inclined, we are going to make a small drop for each. Shoe we have approximately 3 centimeters and 5 centimeters long. We are going to raise the tip a little in this way so that the shoe looks like this. And in this case, we are going to place each shoe, one towards one side and the other towards the other side. We are going to take the portion of dough indicated to make the legs. In this case, we are working with white dough. Remember that we must also add color to the white color. The dough is quite white because the rubber base is white. However, if we do not add white color when it dries, it tends to look yellowish. So to make the color white, we also have to add coloring. We have approximately 4.5 cm. With the help of a knife we go to divide in half, trying to make these movements so that it is cut without pulling the dough. Down with the help again of the extruder nozzle and this flat disc, I am going to place a little release cream to prevent the dough from sticking. Stretch the dough a little. I put the dough into the doua and we are going to press to remove the strip in this way. Since it is a very thin strip, we must work very carefully to avoid damage. Here we can also help ourselves with the doua board that helps us press the doua without making with a lot of force. We place white rubber in the same way and we are going to glue it around the leg to simulate the stripes on the stocking. We have glued the two shoes together and now we are going to glue the legs. We are going to take the portion of skin-colored dough indicated for the neck. We are going to make a sphere without cracks. We are going to stretch it this way, trying to make it uniform, and we are going to glue the head to the neck and to the body. We must always glue it with the help of white rubber to prevent it from coming off when it dries. Likewise, we glue the gloves towards the arms towards the Body. And also the hat on the head. On the top of the hat, we are going to place a jewelry pin and then place a ribbon and a thread to be able to place it on the tree. Now let's go with the final step with the help of a cotton swab, or we can also work with a soft cloth and a pastel chalk. We are going to take chalk and we are going to soften it in our hand, and with circular movements we are going to very gently paint the cheeks as much as we want. Now we are going to help ourselves with black acrylic paint and a dot pin to paint the eyes. Remember that with the dot pin we are going to take a portion of the dough each time we are going to paint an eye so that they are the same size. We also complete by gluing the legs to the dress. We are going to take the portions that are for the buttons in green. We are going to make a sphere without cracks. We stretch and divide each of these portions in half. Again, we make spheres without cracks in glue. Now we are going to take, likewise, the edges that go on the shoes, and we do it in the same way as we did the sphere buttons. We place white rubber and glue it. Once the face has dried, we can use a fine permanent marker to make the eyelashes. Remember that the mask must be dry to carry out this step to avoid damaging the mask, and we are also going to paint the Eyebrows once. The black color of the eye has completely dried. We can also paint a dot of white with the finest dot paint or with a toothpick to make a highlight in the eye. We are going to take a portion of dough that is for a balloon. We are going to stretch it to be the balloon stick, and we have made a part that we can make with the help of a cutter, or we can do it manually. We are going to glue the balloon to the stick and place the decoration on the hand of the Christmas elf. That was all. This is what we have left. We have the Christmas elf in cold porcelain. I hope you have enjoyed this course a lot, and I will see you in the next one.